The best two accompaniments for turkey, for me, is cornbread dressing and gravy. I just can't imagine. And then I like the gravy on my turkey plain, just as a leftover. And I also like the turkey leftovers, you know, made into sandwiches or just, but you know, to serve as a meat. So what I'm doing right now is I am going to make the cornbread dressing. And what I've taken here, I'm slicing up, is the meat that's from the neck. And it's amazing how much meat is on the neck, and a lot of people just throw that away. But in between, if you just kind of push your fingers in between, there's like the cervicals of the neck, and you just pull the meat out of there. And that's how you can do that all the way down and up the neck. The higher up, the more meat. There was lots of meat up here, which is mainly what we're doing. Oops, there's another chunk right there I missed. So you can just go down there, chop that up, and let's just put that in the bowl. And that gives you a nice texture to your cornbread dressing. It also makes it very much like turkey, tastes like turkey. Now the other things that we cooked this morning, these are the things we took out of the turkey when we were getting it ready. That was the neck, this is the gizzard, and then there's the liver and the heart. Now I know that there are a lot of people who are not crazy about liver. So I leave that up to you whether you add that or not. But the gizzard you need to chop, I don't know if you can see, this is so small, into little tiny pieces because they're a little tougher. Oh, but they're one of my favorite parts of the turkey, that and the heart. And then you just slice those up very thinly. And on the ends, there is this piece that has, you know, it's not meat. It just holds it together. You don't have to put that in. But you want to slice it up pretty thinly. There's no fat in this at all. And so you slice it up, you dice it up, and then we're going to add this to our bowl. And then I'm going to leave the livers out. I usually, if I'm not going to just serve my family, I don't put the livers in because some people just don't like liver. And then you can use that later. Okay, now I'm going to put cornbread in. I have made this cornbread. It's a modified version of the cornbread recipe. It does not have milk in it, and it has no flour. It's all cornbread. And you will notice we make the cornbread and then we put it in here to make cornbread dressing. And it's so that it holds the moisture that we want to cook it like that. And you know, I don't know, I've eaten other people's dressings that are not cornbread, and I like those. This is just the one I've always made. You know, I mainly grew up in the States, across the southern half of the United States, and cornbread is what you eat there. For your dressings, and so I do that. So that's put on top, and then I kind of stir those together to get the meat in there. And then the broth that came from the meat that I was cooking, the gizzard and the heart, the liver and the neck, this is that liquid that they were cooked in, and I put it about half down, and now I put some in here. And you don't want to put too much, because what you're going to do is you're going to have it sit there for a few seconds after you've mixed it up and absorb it. And sometimes it takes all of it, and sometimes it doesn't. It just, you know, just depends. Now, if you want to add salt to this, if you want to add celery, you could add onion. I always make it very plain because then I put the gravy on top. So see how mushy it's getting? You want it to become pretty mushy, but not too watery. And if you just let it keep stirring it, it'll absorb it for you. And then we're going to pour that into a hot pan. We're going to put it in the oven. We're going to bake it at about 350 for about half hour. And then you take it out, and it looks like another piece of cornbread, but it is better tasting because it's got all this turkey in it. And that's what we're going to serve it with. See how mushy it is? It's like you can still see the liquid in there, like that, but it's not too much of it. That's how you want it to be. Now I have my greased pan right here, and I am just going to put that in there. And it looks kind of strange, I know, because it's, you know, kind of partly dry. And then you kind of pat it into the pan. And I don't add salt because at our house we don't add salt to things. We let people add it at the table. And now we're making it solid. See how now it's solid? Okay, now I'm going to put that in the oven. And we will bake that for 30 minutes, and then it'll come out and be piping hot. And while that's baking, we're gonna make the gravy. Now while our cornbread dressing is cooking, we're gonna make the gravy. And what I have here in the skillet already is a 1/4 cup of oil. And you know, you can use the oil that you like best. I usually mix a little butter in with mine. I'm just that way, but it's mainly oil. And then I sprinkle in a 1/4 cup of flour. Now I use whole wheat flour, but you can use plain flour, you know, that's bleached or not bleached. And you kind of cook this, and what we're making is a roux, and what we're doing is we're cooking the flour, and we're going to turn it dark brown. Now when you use the whole wheat flour, it's harder to tell, but you just want to cook it really good so it doesn't taste like flour anymore. And you'll notice it's fizzing up, and it's turning darker. And now a roux can be just about any shade of brown, and we're not making a really dark one today. I'm not making gumbo, I'm making a gravy for my turkey. So after that's gotten brown, then this is some more of the juice that I cooked the meat in this morning. And so I'm going to add that. And you notice it flares up, and it's going to get thick. And there is gravy. Now this is the easiest thing to make, and then it will taste like turkey because I've got the juice from the turkey. That's the liquid that made the gravy, and if you look at it now, it is like perfect gravy. So go to my website. I have the recipes for the cornbread to make the cornbread dressing. I have the recipe for dressing, and I have the recipe for gravy.